In a distant galaxy, where the stars twinkle like diamonds on a velvet cloth, a secretive resort lies hidden on an uncharted planet. Its existence known only to a select few, the resort boasts an intriguing service: the ability to transfer one's consciousness into the body of any creature, real or mythical, past or present. The clientele? An elite group of the galaxy's most powerful and wealthy individuals, seeking new ways to indulge their wildest fantasies. The grand opening of the resort is a lavish affair, drawing guests from across the stars. They arrive in sleek, elegant starships, their faces etched with anticipation and excitement. The atmosphere is electric, as servers in feathered wings and furry tails tend to the guests' every whim. Music fills the air, the bass vibrating through the floor as if the planet itself is participating in the revelry. But beneath the surface of this opulent celebration, something sinister stirs. As the evening wears on, one of the resort's most high-profile guests is found dead, their consciousness seemingly erased. The security system shows no signs of tampering, and the cause of death is a mystery. It is then that the resort's founder, a reclusive but enigmatic figure known only as the Architect, summons a brilliant investigator to solve the case. The investigator's name? Well, that's a story for another time. For now, all that matters is that they are about to uncover a secret that could shake the foundations of the galaxy itself. The investigator arrives at the resort and is immediately struck by the surreal atmosphere. Servants bustle about, attending to the needs of guests in the shapes of unicorns, dragons, and even extinct species like dinosaurs and woolly mammoths. The investigator's gaze lingers on one particular dinosaur, a Tyrannosaurus rex, as they wonder if such a creature could even support a human consciousness. But this is a world where anything is possible, and the line between fantasy and reality has been irrevocably blurred. As they begin their investigation, the investigator discovers a hidden flaw in the resort's revolutionary consciousness transfer technology. It seems that there is a vulnerability that allows minds to be hijacked and rewritten. The murderer must have exploited this flaw to erase their victim's consciousness and take control of their body. But who would have access to such information, and why would they use it to commit murder? These questions burn in the investigator's mind as they continue their search for the truth. The trail of clues leads them deeper into the resort, past rooms filled with exotic creatures and opulent suites adorned with works of art that defy description. They speak with staff members, guests, and even other investigators who have been brought in to help solve the case. Each conversation brings them closer to the heart of the mystery, and closer to the shocking truth about the Architect and the secret group that seeks to control the minds of the galaxy's elite. But time is running out. The killer must be found before they strike again, and before their true motives are revealed. For in this world where consciousness can be bought and sold, the power to control the minds of the galaxy's most powerful beings is the ultimate prize. And if the investigator doesn't find the killer first, the consequences could be disastrous for everyone. As they race against the clock, the investigator discovers a hidden laboratory deep beneath the resort, where unspeakable experiments are being conducted on unwilling subjects. The Architect, it seems, is not only the resort's founder, but also the mastermind behind these heinous crimes. Their true goal is to create an army of mind-controlled servants, each one more powerful and obedient than the last. The galaxy they once knew has been turned on its head, and they must decide how far they are willing to go to stop the Architect and bring their twisted vision to an end. As the final confrontation draws near, the investigator realizes that the fate of billions of innocent lives hangs in the balance. It is a weight that they carry heavily, but they know that they must not falter. For if they fail, the universe may never be the same again. The investigator makes their way through the underground lab, their footsteps echoing eerily off the sterile white walls. The air is thick with the smell of burning flesh and the sound of agonized screams. They come upon a chamber where the most powerful of the Architect's experiments are being held captive. A group of unicorns, once beacons of hope and innocence, now stand chained to the walls, their eyes filled with despair and their minds clouded by the influence of the mind-control devices implanted in their skulls. The investigator's hand trembles as they reach for the control panel, knowing that the moment they flip the switch, they will be setting these creatures free. They can feel the weight of the decision bearing down upon them, but they know that it is a risk they must take. Slowly, deliberately, they flip the switch and the control devices are disabled. The chamber fills with the cries of released captives as the unicorns collapse to the ground, their minds finally free from the tyranny of the architect's control. The investigator turns to face the architect, who stands before them, a smirk playing at the corners of their lips. "Ah, my dear investigator," they say, their voice dripping with mockery. "I knew you'd come to this point. You see, you're just as much a part of my grand design as any of the others. You were always meant to play your role, and now that you have, the game is almost over." The investigator stands firm, their heart racing with a mixture of fear and determination. They know that they cannot allow the architect to continue, no matter the cost. "Then let the game begin," they say, their voice steady and resolute, "because I will stop you, even if it means sacrificing my own life in the process." With those words, the investigator lunges forward, drawing their weapon. The confrontation that ensues is a blur of motion and sound, as the two adversaries fight for their lives and the fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance. The investigators' thoughts race, their muscles tense, and their breath comes in ragged gasps. But they will not relent. They will not surrender. They will not fail. For the future of the universe rests on their shoulders, and they will not let it slip through their fingers. As the battle rages on, the investigator finds themselves pressed against the wall, their back pressed painfully into the cold, unforgiving steel. The architect, sensing an opening, lunges forward, their blade glinting in the dim light. The investigator feels a surge of adrenaline course through their veins, and with a final burst of strength, they manage to deflect the attack, sending the architect's weapon clattering to the floor. The investigator takes a deep breath, gathering their remaining energy. They raise their weapon, pointing it directly at the heart of their enemy. The architect's eyes widen in surprise and fear, but there is no pity in the investigator's heart. They squeeze the trigger, sending a hail of bullets flying toward their target. The architect stumbles backward, their body riddled with bullets. As they collapse to the ground, the investigator stands over them, weapon still raised, ready to deliver the killing blow. But something holds them back. They look down at the architect, no longer a fearsome figure of power and control, but a broken, defeated human being. And for the first time, they feel a twinge of pity. The investigator lowers their weapon, holstering it as they step away. They know that the architect's reign of terror is over, but they cannot bring themselves to end their life so easily. Instead, they leave them there, wounded but alive, to face the consequences of their actions. Perhaps, in time, they will find redemption. But for now, the investigator must focus on the task at hand, repairing the damage that has been done and helping to heal the galaxy they love so dearly. As they turn to leave the chamber, the investigator can't help but wonder what the future holds. The weight of their actions presses down upon them, a constant reminder of the responsibility they now bear. But they also feel a newfound sense of purpose, of belonging, of being a part of something greater than themselves. They know that the road ahead will be long and fraught with danger, but they are not alone. They have the strength of the unicorns, the resilience of the captured beings, and the love of those who have stood by them throughout this ordeal. The investigator emerges from the chamber, blinking in the harsh light of the outside world. The halls of the palace are quiet now, the sounds of celebration muted in the wake of the revelations they have brought forth. They make their way to the throne room, their steps purposeful and sure. There, they find the king and queen, their faces etched with weariness and hope. As the investigator approaches, the king rises from his throne, his hand extended in greeting. "Thank you, investigator," he says, his voice cracking with emotion. "You have done what we could not, and for that, we owe you a debt that can never be repaid." The investigator takes the king's hand, feeling the weight of his words, but also the sincerity behind them. "No, your majesty," they reply, their voice steady. "It is not I who have done this. It was all of us working together. And now it is up to all of us to rebuild, to heal, and to ensure that this never happens again." The king nods, his expression solemn. "Then let us begin," he says, his voice strong once more. "Together, we will forge a new future for our people. A future built on truth, justice, and compassion." The investigator stands beside the king, their hearts swelling with hope as they look out upon the assembled crowd. For they are no longer alone. They are part of something greater than themselves, and together, they will shape the destiny of the galaxy. The queen takes a step forward, her voice steady and clear. "We will rebuild our cities, restore our lands, and free our people from the chains of oppression. We will find new homes for those who have suffered, and give them the chance to start anew. And we will never, ever forget the lessons we have learned here today." Her words ring out through the throne room, echoing in the hearts of all who hear them. As the crowd begins to disperse, the investigator lingers for a moment longer, taking in the sight of the newly freed beings, their faces etched with relief and gratitude. They see the unicorns, their horns glowing brightly, their presence a reminder of the power of love and courage, and they know that they have a role to play in this new world. Role that is both humbling and terrifying. They turn to the king and queen, their gaze meeting and held for a moment. There is no doubt in their mind that the road ahead will be long and difficult, but they are not alone. They have the strength of their friends, the wisdom of their leaders, and the love of their people. Together, they will face whatever challenges come their way, and they will emerge stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. As the investigator steps out into the bright sunlight, they breathe in deeply, feeling the warmth of the air on their skin. For the first time in a long time, they feel free. Free to be who they are, free to pursue their dreams, free to shape their own destiny. And as they walk toward the horizon, they know that the future holds endless possibilities, waiting to be explored and discovered. The investigator glances back once more at the palace, a smile tugging at the corners of their lips. They can still see the faces of the king and queen watching them go, their expressions full of hope. And they realize that it is not only the galaxy that has changed today, but they themselves as well. They are no longer just an investigator, a lone wolf, a stranger in a strange land. They are a part of something much greater than themselves, and they embrace it with open arms, ready to face whatever challenges and triumphs lie ahead. The wind picks up, rustling the leaves of the trees that line the path, and the investigator takes a step forward, their heart full of determination. The journey may be long and winding, but they know that they are not alone. They have the strength of the unicorns, the resilience of the captured beings, and the love of those who have stood by them throughout this ordeal. And with that knowledge burning brightly in their heart, they continue onward, into the unknown, their gaze fixed on the horizon, where a brighter, more hopeful future awaits. As they walk, they can't help but marvel at the changes that have taken place in the palace since their last visit. The once desolate throne room is now filled with color and life, as banners flutter in the breeze and people mill about, laughing and sharing stories of their experiences. The unicorns, too, have become an integral part of the landscape, their presence a constant reminder of the power of love and compassion.